Yo, how you guys doing? This is Julian. Welcome to the stream, everybody. Coming at you live from a brand new computer now. This is a brand new Mac Pro, or MacBook Pro, sorry. So we shouldn't have any hiccups like we've had historically on these streams. I am streaming now to Twitch, YouTube, and Facebook, and as you can see on the screen, we are receiving those messages from each platform. So if you are on any of those platforms, you can message and then it'll appear on the screen as we work today. Couldn't do that on my old machine because the CPU just was prohibitive of it. But now with the new platform and all of the new stuff, we got it working and it's looking good. So welcome to today's stream. This is the February Fix Your Project stream for all of the Julian Gray Media patrons, Julian Gray Music patrons too. And I'm so excited to get this one started because today we have a lot of cool new stuff that should work better on this new computer. So let's go ahead and get this thing started. And apologies if we run into any hiccups today because of the new setup. Obviously this is our maiden voyage, if you will. And if we run into any issues, let me know. We're also broadcasting in 60 frames per second today. We've always done it in 30 before. Hopefully, it looks cooler today. All right, let's switch over to our main visual here. This is our, the screen. Exciting. Yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and open up Ableton, and we'll get this thing started. And it's awesome that you guys now can see all of the comments across the different platforms up in the upper right-hand corner. So sick. So I'm going to move Ableton to the main display here. That should help things out. And yeah, we'll get this thing started. This is really exciting. All right, so if you're unfamiliar with these streams and you've never tuned into one of my Fix Your Project streams in the past, this series basically, if you're a patron of my YouTube channel, you can submit project files and then check them out. Or I will check them out and work on them on stream. So, cool. Let's get this thing going. And guys, if any issues are running, or if we're running into any issues in the stream, let me know and we will address them as we go along here because again, this is our first maiden voyage on this new computer, and if there is issues, I'm anticipating there will be, let me know and we can address them. Okay. Seems like my FPS is a little variable right now on Restream, but I think that's a bandwidth problem, unfortunately. Can you guys hear me all right? Hopefully you can. That would be bad if you couldn't. All right, let's get this thing started. This is the first one, Dustin Rosada. It's an Ableton 10 project. We got to open it in the old DAW. Let's go ahead and do that. Thinking the lag might actually be the stream. Let me see if I can adjust my settings. I think it's the internet, to be honest. It's not the computer. My internet's just not keeping up with the speed of the stream data. So let me see if I can reduce our output here. And while we do that, I will open up Ableton Live 10 and get that going. Sorry, one sec. Yeah, that's much better. Yeah, it seems like the video is a little choppy. I'm trying to address that right now. Don't know why that is, to be honest. Let's do constant frame rate of 60. We'll get it going. We'll get it fixed up. It seems like the videos run into some issues here. I don't know why. I think it's my upload speed though. I don't think it's the computer. All right, well, I'm pulling up Ableton here. This is Ableton 10. Let's get to this one. I'm not connected via Ethernet. That is a good idea. Maybe I should try that. Yeah, let me try that and see if that does anything for us. Yeah, hold on. Bear with us. We will be fixed in one moment. All right, working on it. Are we getting a solid 60 again, or no? So I don't know if the Ethernet adapter is going to work because it's not picking up on it. I have a USB Ethernet adapter, obviously, because I don't have an Ethernet cable or port on this machine. But it seems like my connection's back. It's just very intermittent. So this leads me to believe it is an internet thing. I can reduce my video, I think. Potentially the bit rate sent through. I think that might be where we're running into issues here, because not getting issues like streaming. Anyhow, I think we can carry on as it is right now. It might be a little bit choppy, but it should be good enough to get through what we're doing. So let's go ahead and give this a go, and then we'll have all these issues resolved by the next stream. The new computer is plowing through the processing, though. That's good. So like no issues. I'm only at 5% CPU, and we're streaming and running Ableton right now. It seems like it's intermittent, and it's working every so often. So we'll see if the internet can keep up. All right, let's go ahead and start off with One Night. This is by, I think it was Dustin, if I'm correct. Yeah, I believe so. And let's go ahead and get this thing started. Sound will go through. I anticipated this one. Here you go. All right, should be good. Sounding good. Smooth, man. Welcome Mix Warp, welcome Luke, Essity, Dustin. Thanks for tuning in today. There we go. Yeah, it seems like the visuals corrected itself. I think it's just an internet thing. Cool. Fresco Baldy, welcome on Twitch. Let's really get into this project file. One of my main comments so far is that it's just a little bit repetitious. It does feel like we've kind of been at the same place for the past minute. I'm going to resume and keep listening through, but that's one of my initial thoughts here. Okay, that's cool. Breakbeat switch up. There you go. Can you hear that? If you can hear that, that would be great. You should be able to hear that out of your left side. I'm gonna do better? Yeah, okay, cool. Now I just gotta put it in the middle. We'll get there, guys. We'll get there. Yeah, just here. Hold on. How about now? Should be better. Actually, let's do this. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Better. Yeah, I don't know why it was doing that. That was a weird bug. I've never seen that before. It's an OBS bug, clearly. Really strange. Don't know why it did that. Mic cut off. But yeah, I was just saying before, and I'm actually going to listen to myself for a second. Yeah, okay, cool. I was just saying before we had those weird audio problems, there's a lot of redundancy in this song. So it's just a little bit long. It doesn't really need to be 6 minutes long. It could probably be like 4, and it still would achieve the same thing. I think that, you know, this is a subjective thing, obviously, but in the world of like streaming and shorter and shorter attention spans, it's best to try to achieve what you're trying to tell in the shortest span possible. And then, of course, you could do like an extended mix or something, but just for like the base mix, I don't think it's necessary to have it that long. Okay, the other thing I was going to do, I just brought up loudness meter and span, and those of you who know me like and watch these videos know that these are like 2 of my favorite tools. Loudness meter lets you know like your generalized volume, so like if you're at a competitive master level to like Spotify, and then span shows you the spectral balance. So I was just pulling this up so that we can look at, you know, how the song looks in you know, a better spectrum analyzer, so that we can really see if there's anything that's wrong per se, and also maybe isolating some things that we can improve upon. So I think that your mix is not bad, and I think the writing is solid. There's not a whole lot I would change production wise. There's no like musical issues. My one input is like that creative input of it's a little bit long-winded, and if you can get that resolved, then yeah, it'll be a lot better, I think, or at least more to the point, easier to listen to for an average listener. Let's go ahead and play this back and like look at the span. Okay, so when we're looking at the span, you can see that it's a pretty good balanced song. I think you have 1 or 2 things that are a little bit strange, and maybe some things we can adjust. But if you look at the master span, see that one hi-hat's just really loud. If we can identify what that is and turn it down a little bit, we can actually push the entire song a little bit louder, just because that one peak is just so loud. I also think that, you know, you might do to add a little bit of high-end information to some of your instruments too, like your pianos and your support synthesizers, because it doesn't have like that crunchy, like punchy top end. And I think that can help here. Some of that like disco-y house sound with like the piano M1 that you're going for, I think is derivative of like over compressing and distorting that piano. So maybe just turn it up a little bit and add some high end. First, I want to try to see if I can find that hi-hat. So that one. It's not that. Pretty sure this is it here. There's just like a resonance buildup right there at that one frequency. So I'm going to take an EQ, see if I can fish for it and remove that. Yeah. Piano house with deep vibes. Yep, that's exactly what we're dealing with here. And I'm going to try next stream to sort out a way to put the chat on the screen that's not as abrasive. Maybe if I did this. I know if this is easier to read. It might be. Or like here. Hold on. Yeah, something like this. Or here. I think that's about right, I think. All right. All right, so let's find that hi-hat. I already did, I think it was this guy. Yeah, and I want to just scoop out that one really strong resonant. Let's crank up the Q a bit to really grab it. And then we can A-B what's going on here. So I'm actually going to copy span to that channel so we can look at it. And here, I'll pull it up from my other monitor. Yeah. So if we remove this, you can see like there's that one really harsh harmonic here at like 7 kilohertz. Just trying to tame it a bit. And it overall helps the sound, I think, if we just remove it. How sharp and like resonant that is, and then put it back, and it's nice and pleasing on the ears. And then the adverse effect of that is if we look at our master channel now, you don't have that one weird peak, and it'll help you free up some high end. Maybe there's a second layer in there that's doing something too, because that's still loud. Yeah, I think it's this one. So I want to just grab that EQ from the other one, put it on hi-hat as well. Yeah, lose that resonance, and then there it is. So it really flattens out our top end, so we have the freedom to push the whole record a little bit louder. Yeah. And yeah, Dustin, this is a great record. I really like where this is going. Keep up the good work. Yeah, so there's that. I'm going to change my background to just like straight black for a second here so that we don't have, yeah, so you don't have that. All right, cool. All right, so yeah, that's helpful. So now we have flattened everything out. We can actually push the record a little louder now. So if we took like a Pro L or something, like a Fab Filter Pro L2, I'm going to use the VST one if we can, just so you have the freedom to open it on Windows. Yeah, and pull it up. So I'm just going to crank this a bit to try to flatten it out, just crush it a bit. I just want to give it some bite. And then, like I was saying, the one other thing I would change mix-wise would be to grab that piano and try to add a little bit of high-end. It just feels a little bit dull to me. It looks like you have some effects on it, so I don't know what it's doing, but let me just see if I can address this with post-effects. Like if we take an EQ and rebalance this so that the high-end is priority. See how like even before the EQ, you can see how it rolls off here at about 3,000 hertz. If we can get a little bit more high end in there and sharpness, this is where like the punch and the clarity is. So I'd say maybe try to balance it out by adding a little bit of high end here, so it reduces the strain here. Seeing that like fall off here makes it seem like, you know, the low end is the priority of the sound. So we want to try to either flatten it out or prioritize highs. And I'm just adding some high end here so that it balances that out. That's pretty good. And then I'm going to try this plugin by Slate. It's called Fresh Air, and it's a plugin for adding artificial high end. So if we can utilize that, that'd be awesome. Nurbeck on YouTube says, "Don't mean to hijack the chat. Tried DMing you last summer, but do you happen to remember the sample pack you found the flute sample on? No more questions, promise." Don't feel bad for asking questions. I'm always down to answer user questions. I don't recall the flute sample or like the context of what you're talking about. If you can send me what you're referring to, I might be able to help further. So yeah, I'm gonna add some high end, a little bit of mids. So altogether, if I just group these together and then A/B it, you can hear the difference adding that high end makes in the energy. Okay, so now let's go ahead and back on the master channel, and to finish this off, I'm going to take another look at our span. You see we've balanced it a little bit up at the top. Maybe we can add a little bit of high end on our master channel. I would probably use something a little better than a stock EQ, but I've done it on tracks before. Just a little bit of bump up here to kind of flatten this out and make sure that our bass isn't overwhelming our highs. And obviously this is a master effect, so you don't want to go too ham with it. Might even try some like plate reverb or something to play into that vintage sound. Like, yeah, like a really cheap sounding like Ableton reverb. Oh, I see. So he was asking you a question about the flute. I thought you were referring to me. Gotcha. All right, Dustin, this is sounding really good. I think it just needs a little bit of arranging and trimming the fat, if you will. I think it's a little bit long in the tooth right now. So keep working on it. Sounding awesome. Let's go ahead and save this if Ableton will permit us. I don't know why it always does this. Working through emotions. One night. Julian version. Just will not save. Wow. File save as. Lots of hiccups today. There we go. Yeah, so everybody give a round of applause to Dustin. He has asked, what do you suggest trimming? I think that a lot of that beginning is redundant. Like, you could probably trim some of those like 32 bar sections down to 16 and get the whole song down to like, 3 minutes, 4 minutes rather than 5 or 6. It's a little bit long in the tooth. All right, that's One Night by Dustin Rosada. Great record. I really liked that one, and I hope that those changes help the project and you appreciate what I've done to it and not ruin it. All right. Next up, we have Eldon. Remember What It Feels Like. Let's go ahead and unarchive this guy. And yeah, that's our next project. First one was, Dustin. And if you guys are new to these streams, or if this is your first stream, I do these Fix Your Project streams on a monthly basis for patrons of the channel and for supporters on Patreon in general. So if you have a project that you are working on and you need some advice for making it better, or if you want me to give you more direct feedback than like a SoundCloud feedback stream that a lot of other producers do, I love doing these Fix Your Project streams so I can look inside what you're doing and really tell you what's wrong with it. It's much harder for me to, tell you how to improve your music when I don't have an idea of how it looks in the DAW. All right, this is Eldon. I think this might be that last one might be the only Ableton 10 project today. We're gonna move on to Eldon. Let's see it. Great work, Dustin. Okay, so some of my plugins aren't loading here in Ableton 11. I think it's because of the M1 in this new Mac. Just doesn't appreciate the Ableton 11 plugin stuff, so we might run into some issues there. It could also be a Mac Windows thing, because I know Mark is in Windows, but we should get the gist even without our limiter on. So let's go ahead and give this a go. Oh, Tidris, welcome. Oh, how you doing, Anjuna Eric?
Everybody's scared of falling. 'Cause you can't live without the hurt. Can't see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart, the best and the worst. So I can remember what it feels like. Can remember what it feels like. So I can remember what it feels like.
He's gonna put his limiter back on and try to add a little bit of limiting so we can get some volume here.
Take mine and let's go straight into a golden dream. If we don't try, we won't know how good it could be. 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 You can't live without the hurt. Can't see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart, the best in the world.
I love the vocal. That's sick.
Can remember what it feels like. Can remember what it feels like. So I can remember what it feels like.
Okay, so I've actually heard this one before, and I think we worked on it on a previous stream at one point. Really cool song. I love the vocal. I love the musical ideas. We actually did a session on this pretty recently. Mark Eldon is one of my mentees, and yeah, we worked on this a few weeks ago, and I think we worked on the build-up. One one of the things I'm hearing right now in this listen through is a kind of a lack of low end. I just want to verify that with Span really quick to see what's going on here. But it just feels like there's no bass in the drop.
You can love without the hurt. Can see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart.
And yeah, Tidris, we, as of I think last stream, we started streaming to YouTube, Twitch, Facebook, all at once. And if you're on any of those platforms, you can leave a comment and it'll appear on the screen. So awesome cross compatibility between the platforms here. And again, if you guys are new watching this, this is my monthly Fix Your Project stream. I work on projects submitted by my Patreon supporters. So this is Mark Eldon. Remember what it feels like. So back to what we were doing. Let's go ahead and listen to this, the drop specifically, and see if we can identify the balance of the bass. It just feels very empty down there. So yeah, it appears like the bass is only hitting its maximum volume on that kick if we play it. Yeah, we're seeing motion here in the bass, but it's only when the kick is hitting and then the fade out of the kick. I think if we just added a little bit more bass to this song, it would be better. I will say, though, there's a newfangled audio elevate here, which is a limiter. I don't know why that's not loading in VST format, but I'm going to go ahead and replace it and try doing some limiting here just to sum those basses together. I think that's probably why we're losing the bass. Yeah, okay, so even with that, it's not translating. We're missing something here. I think it's a sub. That sub is really low. We're also trimming off the top notes of that here in this EQ, so I can't hear that at all. Yeah, it needs to be a bit louder. And in general, the bass is just kind of quiet. And I have a sub pack on, so I should feel something there if there was some bass there, but really there's not too much. Yeah, okay, so what I'm gonna do is try, adjusting the sound a little bit. It's just a little too boring, I guess. Let's go ahead and try a grab like a saw wave or a square wave, maybe like a pulse width mod square, just to add some nice harmonics. And I'm just trying to shape that waveform a bit. Let's see if my oscillator translated. I don't know if it did. Or not oscillator, sorry, oscilloscope. Probably not. Yeah, it didn't. So you see this wave shape here. The best subs maximize the amount of time that you're spending at 100% and negative 100%. So if we can adjust the harmonics by picking a different wavetable or like adjusting our processing, we can get this sub hitting better. Now I'm sure if you guys are wearing headphones or a sub pack or something, you can really feel the difference there between like that and like, let's say this. Or that, yeah. I don't want to use too many plugins, but there's a plugin called Isotope Trash, which is very good at manipulating the shape of the the waveform coming out of whatever instrument you have. So if we use trash, let's go ahead and close this, and we just grab the shape function. We can really shape the wavetable a little bit here to try to maximize our amount of time at positive and negative 100%. So, and a square is just really boring, but if we get something, you know, a little bit more harmonically rich, like, yeah, that's kind of cool. Yeah, so that's a lot more bass, and we haven't even changed the volume of the bass, so it's coming through a lot better. Let me go ahead and turn that up too. Now again, I don't know if you have isotope trash, so I don't want to like make you commit to that and buy it, but I think it's one of the better tools for shaping your sub. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab a utility, turn that up like a few decibels here, maybe like 5. That's too much, like 3. Okay, that's probably a little bit closer to what we're after. In trash, I'm gonna keep playing around with this to try to get a little bit more shape. You can try some distortion too. And for this kind of stuff, we're dealing with more of a feeling than a sound. Like, that sounds cool, but it doesn't have that, like, guttural, like, low-end punch. That sounds pretty good. I think better than where it was. Let's go ahead and go back to here. Maybe the pulse width square. Yeah, add a little bit more low end. Hey Mark, we're actually working on your record right now. So I'm doing a little bit of shaping on your sub. I used isotope trash. This is sick respace here. I'm gonna turn up the low end a bit. On your OTT, I'm gonna prioritize the lows a bit there too. Just trying to add a little bit of low end to the whole record. I think it's a little bit top heavy, so yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and save this. That's my biggest critique for this one. I mean, we've worked on this before. I think the predominant problem I'm having today with these fresh ears is that the low end's just not strong enough in a lot of places. So
Everybody's scared of falling. 'Cause you know you can't live without the hurt. Can see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart, the best and the worst. So I can remember what it feels like. Can remember what it feels like. So I can remember what it feels like.
might just need a little bit more limiting, to be honest, too. Might help. Like really pushing it.
How could you can live without the hurt? Can see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart, the best and the worst. So I can remember what it feels like. Can remember what
You might want to try like a slightly more aggressive limiter too. Like Newfangled is very transparent, but this is like a bigger like progressive trance kind of song. I don't know if this is like the sound for this. Newfangled's really good for like softer, really transparent limiting. For something like this, I would go for something like Pro L. Just like really like destroy the sound in a good way. Really quickly, I can show what that sounds like. Obviously, if you don't have Pro L, you can get away with using Newfangled. It's just it has this very distinctive sound. Pro L does that a lot of progressive trance guys use because it has that sound. Oh, okay, Pro L too. Yeah. Yeah. So if I just take this and I push it. Maybe not quite that much. There's like a few balancing things I would try to do too. Like your kick is a little bit soft, but it seems like the whole track is kind of loud right now, so it'd be hard to achieve what I'm trying to do here. Yeah, so I need to collapse everything first, and then we can do this. Right? Yeah, that's how it works. Just turn everything down a little bit, like 2 or 3 decibels, and then we have some headroom to play with, and then we can do a little bit of mixing. I think the kick's a little bit quiet, like 2 decibels or something. And then that lead synth is a little quiet too.
Can't remember what it feels like. Can't remember what it feels like. Sorry. Can't remember what it feels like.
Okay, so the kick is definitely knocking more now. I'm just gonna solo the kick and the bass together here, so we can get that going a little bit tighter. And then I noticed you have your master volume automating, and I would do this pre-limiter. I wouldn't do this on your like track by track, just because it's, or I'm sorry, on your master track, because this is post limiter and it's just like turning down the summed volume rather than turning down the input volume. Just my opinion. So this balance here is still off. Like your bass should not be this present against that kick. Where's that side chain? You have one going. Sends only. Okay, so I'm gonna make sure that your side chain's cutting enough. I don't think it is. That's a little bit better, but I still think the kick is quiet, relatively speaking. Put an EQ on the kick. Just not a lot of like pump, you know. I used one of my kicks. Yeah, I just think the rest of the song needs to be mixed to that kick, because the kick is so like short. So I'm gonna do this and then turn everything down a little bit more, and we'll get the kick bass relationship going, and then we'll do a quick mix over the whole thing. So like that feels better to me. The kick is like way out in the front. Maybe it doesn't need to be that far out. Like, Yeah, I don't know if I love that kick sample here. It doesn't have that bottom that you need for this kind of sound, I think. Let's see if we got any other kicks here, and then like I said, we'll do a quick mix over. I don't think that's it either. I have this really good Nicky Romero pack. Does some good kicks in it. Let's try this. That's about the same. Go ahead and grab like one of these deeper ones. Let's try that. I think it might be an octave thing too. Like it's a key that's difficult to get the kick to sound like strong in. Also, I don't know if you're side chaining that kick enough or the lead enough. That's not even the one. I thought I was doing the ARP the whole time. Oh well, it probably translates the same way. So I'm going to push the gain up on the sidechain so we have a little bit more signal to work with. Yeah, I'm going for a more aggressive cut there, just so it plays with the bass and the kick a bit more. So like, this is exactly what you don't want to happen in your build-up. You don't want the volume to become louder than the drop. So I'm going to copy your master volume automation pre-limiter instead of on your master channel. It's probably an oversight. I wouldn't doubt if it was. Yeah. Used it right on there. And then we'll bring this down to like 0. If I can. Come on. I just wish I could type that in. Is it Command, Option, Shift? Yeah, there it is. There we go. Okay, so bass needs to come up a bit, and then the vocal needs to come up a bit, I think, too. But I don't know, man. I think the kick might need to be replaced or something. It's not landing properly.
Take my hand and let's go straight into a golden dream. If we don't try, we won't know.
I'm gonna turn everything back up now.
Take my hand and let's go straight into a golden dream. If we don't try, we won't know how good it could be. Everybody, everybody, everybody wants somebody of their own. But everybody, everybody, everybody's scared of falling. 'Cause you know you can't love without the hurt. Can't see the light if you don't burn.
Alright, so mix is sounding pretty good, I think. A few adjustments I would make here just to make the vocal come through a little better is like on this build up, I would pull this arpeggio out a bit, like filter it down. You have competing voices there, so if you just, you know, dial it down, it's like.
'Cause you know you can't love without the hurt. Can't see the light if you don't burn. Just give me your heart.
Yeah, the vocal comes through better.
The best and the worst. So I can remember what it feels like. Can remember what it feels like. So I can remember what it feels like.
Yeah, I think the bass still needs some help too, but I just, it might be a key thing. It's not translating well in this song. Like E is a weird key to write in, and it's not giving me that like sub response I'm looking for. But overall, I think it's sounding a little bit better now with some of the mixing we've done. We did the adjustments to the sub to make it land a bit better in the mix with that isotope trash. I'm gonna go ahead and freeze that, so if you don't have trash, you can still open it. And yeah, I think we'll move on to the next one because I already spent 30-40 minutes on this one. I get carried away when I really like a song, so that vocal's awesome. Really, really like this one. If I had another hour or two, I would probably mix it, you know, really mix it properly, but don't want to take the whole stream on one artist. All right, so that's Mark Eldon's Remember What It Feels Like. Great record. Loved that one. I'm going to create a finished folder. Yeah. So we know what we're dealing with. All right, next up is Essity Cloak. And I'm going to try to get through all these today, but we do have a phone call at 4. Essity, if you're still in the chat, are you in Ableton 10 or 11? I'm going to open the other one too. This is a FL Studio STEM project, so that's going to be easy enough. And then screen looking is Luke. Luke, are you still in the chat? If you are, let me know what Ableton you're in. All right, Essity says he confirmed it is in fact 11. So we'll open it in Ableton 11. Easy. That's just what I like to see. All of the projects in the same place. Yes, live 11. Oh yeah, and Mark, I like that top lead you've added, the really like dreamy synth one. Sounds really cool. I would probably turn it up if I were you. All right, Essity. Let's see what he said this time. FX and better automations to be added later. By the way, I hope you're having a great day. The Julian Gray way. Heck yeah. I'm having a great day thanks to you, Essity. Let's go ahead and give this project a stream. I hope you never stop sending projects because these are always so cool. I do not have the patience to do that. I respect the fact that you do. All right. Solid start. Hearing double, eh? It's probably my speakers playing through the microphone. Sorry about that. That should be better. This has so much potential to be really good. I mean, it's already good. I mean, like, extremely good. Okay, I'm gonna mix as we go here because I'm really enjoying this, but I want to work on it as we go. So I think the bass is a little quiet. Weird EQ shape there. I think just flatten it out a bit and turn it up. Yeah, bring that bass in. That's cool. Hey Ashley, welcome to the stream from YouTube. I might be going a bit over the top on turning these basses up, but I think you just need that low end. Check. Should fix the mic right there. Yeah, keep that bass low key, and then like when it reveals, it'll come in really strong. Like, I almost think you could do that here too. Like, do like a mid drop bass reveal. Kind of cool. Like if you did this. I'm just giving you arrangement tips here. This is kind of subjective, so. That kind of hits you when it comes in. I would say do that with your kick too, if you can. So like, you have this really nice kick here. Just needs a little bit more low punch, I think. I'm gonna give it a little bit more length. So you have some of that beef at the bottom. And then if you withhold that for the first few beats and then bring it in, it'll be this really satisfying reveal. I do this a lot in my newer music. So if you have it high pass like your bass, so let's play. Yeah, sorry about the mic thing. There's not much I can do outside of like using headphones, and I can't mix as well on headphones, so I turned it down a little bit, so it should help a little bit. So when that kick comes back in, it'll be a really satisfying, like, yeah, bass line's playing so much nicer now with the volume we added. A few more things on that bass. If we take that and we just add a little bit of compression or something. Okay, so you're already pretty wrecking it. I'm wondering where your sidechain is, if you even have one. Okay, so you do on here. Go ahead and grab this and put it on your group too. We're gonna make this one really tight, so we're only gonna listen for the click, and we're gonna really destroy it. Now let me see. Okay, so your sidechain trigger is really long. Wherever that sidechain trigger is, I'm going to try to shorten that length down to the minimum, like something like this. Yeah, and then from there you can expand upon the length with your sidechain release time. You don't have to rely on, you know, the length of the sample to determine it now. So we can actually make that bass really tight. So the EQ actually doesn't do anything here because it's just high end. I would say even shorter than that, like, yeah, groovy. So let's turn up the sidechain trigger. So we're getting more gain reduction, and we can get like a really nice, like, tight cut. Something like that, yep. And then toss that kick back in there, and we'll have this really cool motion. Let's match our makeup to like what we're cutting, like 5 to 8 or 7. Yeah. I'm gonna push the limiter a little bit more actually. Let's see what we're dealing with in terms of EQ. Add some like mid in there. That sounds good. You have this chonky low end now. Let's see. This is not making much volume at all. Your main melody's a little quiet too. I'm gonna turn that up like 5-6 decibels. I'm gonna compress that too, so like. Let's go ahead and add a little bit more reverb. Oh, you're not even doing reverb. It's just release time. Why is it so like... It's like so not centered. Trying to deduce why. It sounds like very much to my left side. Do you have something in this chain? No. There might be like a thing on here. C long delay. Hey Arcus, welcome. Yeah, I don't know why that's only coming in on my left. It's kind of detracting from the strength of it. Something in here is panned, and I'm trying to figure out where. Okay, so that leads me to believe that this is not Serum that's panning this. Thanks. This new MacBook has facilitated the stream much better than my old computer was, and it's running silent with like 20% CPU. So it's actually literally only coming out of the left side, and I don't know why that is. You can see here. Am I missing something? I'm gonna turn up this one. So the whole thing can come down a little bit. This is missing some high end, it's a little bit flat. And whatever delay you have on there has too much brightness on the top. Yeah, it cleans it up a lot when you reduce the brightness. And then I'm just gonna put a little bit of reverb on there. I think that's good. This one is so cool to start. I don't see like a lot to change, to be honest. It's really good. I think I've summed that bass a little bit better to make it fit in the song and chug a bit more. So now the percussion's a little quiet, so maybe we can just turn down the stuff we turned up a bit just so we can free up that percussion a bit more. I still think these are just too quiet. Maybe just turn them up. Something like this. On that clap, you want that to have a little bit more bite. I would try something like Slate's Fresh Air. Really add some crunch to the top end like we were talking about earlier. Just crunch it up if the sample is not bright enough. Acity, if that's a thing, then it's probably on my end, and it's probably some sort of bug with the M1 version of Serum. So it doesn't really matter too much. I think the point gets across. Mix is sounding ace. This is really good. This sidechain is really not doing enough. I'm going to pull that down and really shorten the length. And I'm only going to do the melodics. Either that or remove the... Actually, I'll just do that. I'll remove the basses from this sidechain group, because they need a little bit different of a sidechain, I think. So I'm going to do that. If you do that, you can kind of simplify this probably down to just the melodics group. You don't need the two. Oops. That was dumb. Yeah, it's cool, man. This reminds me of like... Yeah, I might have messed up some of your like Foley balance, but I'm sure just turning them up will help. But in general, this is sounding ace. I would try some more delay on here, like really obvious, like, and again, I don't want to work on these for too long each, but if I was you, I'd do something like, something like this, and then group these maybe and map one of these macros to your wet, but also like your delay mix or your reverb mix, and then do like an automation here. So it's like, and then as it comes into the drop, you dry it out. So like. You can really get hectic with this if you go too high. Yeah, Mark, I'm kind of hearing that too, like a big, like arpeggiated trance build. I think he's going for like the techno, like minimal build, or just kind of drops back in. May even be able to automate that, macro I just made, like. Something like that. I don't know. Have fun with it. Really like this one. Really, really solid tune. And it's definitely sounding really good now with the mix adjustments we made. All right, that is SD Cloak. Again, if you guys are first watching this project for the first time, if you guys are watching this stream for the first time in this Patreon live stream series, I always fix project files submitted by you guys, the viewers. And if you want to submit for next month, make sure to head over to patreon.com/JulianGray, and you can do that. All right, next up is Screen Looking by Luke Azram, or I Am Azram. Yeah, that's a really good tune. I loved that. Lots of cool bass movement in the bottom. So I don't have your UAD plugin, but we'll see if this will suffice anyhow. All right, this is called Screen Looking. This is by Azram. Let's go. I bet you this will be sick. Little quiet. It's because your whole mastering bus is gone. I'll just give it some volume here. I hear Tori. Give it some volume just so you can hear it. Woo! Dang. Sick. That's mean, dude. Electro House 2020. 2022. So cool. Woo. That's so good. And I'm just thinking about all the stuff you have in store too for like the brand. Damn. This is gonna be big. Okay, this is fire. Your mix is 10 out of 10. The bass hits really well, and that drop just smacks you. I don't have any critique on the mix side of things. I mean, I haven't heard your master chain because I'm dealing with missing plugins, but from what I hear, it sounds amazing. I have a few creative things I can offer that I think might improve the song, but this is more subjective stuff. I think you're on the money with the master and the mix, so I don't want to mess it up. My one thought here is like you have this really cool like IO type techno build thing, like, or like Deadmau5. And I think if this grew into like a legato, it could be really sick. This is Azram, so he's in the chat room, and he's also in the Discord. So my thought is, rather than doing this, well, you can, well, first and foremost, legato everything so that the notes are blending into one another. And then when you hit this part here, just really open up the filter, like go all in. It sounds like there's something diminishing the high end here. Maybe it's like a EQ or something. Yeah. We just lose this. That band doesn't really need to be there, I don't think. If anything, I would do something like a shelf up here. Or not a tilt shelf, a high shelf. Yeah. Yeah, that sounds sick. And then my thought is maybe you can try to bring the notes a little closer together towards the end there, so you have like more punch up top. So that way, like when it hits that part, it really starts to go nuts. You're channeling like deadmau5 here. It sounds good. Yeah, that's like, I think that's cool. And then if you were to take your unison detune on your synth, I see you're already automating it, or at least you intended to. Just like go nuts here, like make this part really like aggressively out of tune. I almost wish this carried through into the drop. Maybe try on your left do 2 and then on the right do 4, so it's like a little bit more bounce. And then automate that mix on your verb too, so like it goes up and then down towards the end. It's like peak deadmau5. Yeah, so then this auto filter thing you had in here, I'm gonna turn that on for the moment and just do one of these so it sweeps up and then down. Yeah, extremely tense. that is so good. I'm so impressed. Let me save this. I don't know why Ableton does this to me all the time where it doesn't let me save it, but screen looking Julian version. There we go. Just want to make sure I save it. So that's one of the critiques I had. I mean, I don't have a lot for this. This is great. I just want to see, like, my curiosity is getting the best of me with this. Like, something like that could be cool, but I don't know if you really need to do it. Yeah, don't know, because it could come off as like too much if it's leading into the same like bass house drop kind of thing. Okay, yeah, that kind of doesn't segue right either. I think you need some sort of effect or something here. I don't know what that is. Does that, if I leave that on, what does that sound like? Maybe some reverb on there or something to like make that fade better. Don't know. This transition's a bit odd. But honestly, man, there's not too much I would change to this. This is good. Okay, so then my other thought is potentially something like this, where you take the drop versions of her voice, like these ones. I think it's this. Yeah, let's just mute these. And then you did like a really, really, really aggressive sidechain, like so aggressive it's like almost like a volume automation or something. Like that. And then you could try like a chorus or something on there to really like mess with it. Sonic Buster suggested maybe just as her voice falls off, automate that sidechain, hard sidechain on and off. Yeah, you totally could do that. Like, you could automate it strategically so that it feels like cooler in some places. Like, but I'll leave that up to you, Luke. Sounds good. Those are my 2 creative ideas. Outside of that, this is sounding perfect. Maybe you could add like some sort of hooky, toppy melody thing in the drops, but that just could be me being trance boy, and wanting that, because I know that in like bass house and electro house they don't do that. So, I don't know. Also, Luke, you should probably name it something relevant to the project. This is good, man. You could put this out. You should submit this to a certain mouse label. A certain rodent label with the dead ones. What it reminds me of. All right, so that's Screen Looking by Azram. Really cool idea. That might be my favorite of the day so far. Let me go ahead and collect all and save that so everything gets over. All right, next we have 2 here. We have Will Curry, which I've never actually seen an ALP project file. We'll have to see how that works. And we have stems from Sonic Buster. So we'll go for the Ableton one first because it's easier. Let's see if this goes. I don't know how this works. I've never done an ALP before, but we'll see. Gives me Ableton cancer. Huh. Never done this before. We'll try this. Collab project, okay. It's the project file. It's like, I don't know. In the future, you can always just send me a zip of the project folder, and that's easier. So. I think all the submissions today have been really solid, like really cool aspects of each of them. But if I had to pick like favorite of the day, no offense to the others, that Azram one's really kicking. It's just more in line with like what I do. Well, let's see how this goes, because I've never actually done a project file like this, so we'll see if it works, and if it doesn't, then yeah. It's the Ableton project, Ableton 10 Suite project outputter. Oh, is it a 10 project? If it's a 10 project, I'll have to do this in 10. Gotcha. Okay. I'll do it in 10 real fast. Because obviously you don't want to send it this high. No, it's okay. I'm actually curious about this because I'm always dealing with like people not understanding how to send like a frozen project, for example. So like it's if this is a good solution, then I'll have to start using it for like client work. I think for like something like this, it's a little too slow. But for client work, it'd be amazing. Let's see, right there-ish. Okay, back to Finder. Let's go ahead and open this up in Live 10. And while we're here, while this does its thing, we can have a brief Q&A, because this might take a few minutes. So cross promote what? Afternoon, fine folk. Welcome, Nick. Thanks for tuning in. Ooh, I don't know why this particular page is like tanking my frame rate. Maybe if I kill that. No, my internet speed's just bad. Switch to this one. Peculiar that it does this. Well, we're still working on the project. We back up to speed, or is it still laggy? Have you seen the prints that Randy sent over by chance? I don't think I have. Unless it's the pictures you sent me. Yeah, that's not working. I don't know why. Just gonna switch back to the other visual. Hopefully the frame rate resolves. Yeah, straight back up to 60. Really peculiar. Don't know why. Yeah, it's the cat. He's being a brat, and this is copying. That's Juno the cat. Is a good cat. The best. So good. No, it's still having internet problems. This is bad. Don't know why. Well, I promise by the next stream we'll have all the streaming issues resolved, hopefully. And we won't have this weird frame rate dips. It's not my CPU usage. Like, look at this. Power of M1, baby. Or like 5% CPU usage. And we're dropping some frames, but I think it's an internet connectivity issue. It's not a computer problem, I don't think. So, unfortunate, but it is what it is, and that's what we're dealing with. So, my cat is always upset. I tried doing Ethernet, but my Ethernet adapter is not working with this M1 machine, so I have to buy a new one. I guess Nick is on Twitch. Yeah, so I don't know. Well, I'll have to see if I can fix it for next time. You guys can still hear me though, right? I think that's what matters more than anything. Okay, so I don't know where that project file went. Oh, right, it'd be under here. Okay. So you got to tell me which one of these projects it is. Is it collab? Collab 3, got it. I guess it's collab, right? Oh, version 3, got it. Cool. So not getting sound. I don't know why. Peculiar. See if that did it. Kitty song. Oh, I just realized it's sending at double the volume too. Whoops. Juno finally getting his debut. It's funny. Pivot to another key there. So, okay, I think I've heard enough of this. I mean, yeah, it seems like a repeat of the same idea. Yeah, so I think my biggest critique of this, the sound design isn't terrible. Like, your layers are fine. It's actually in the musical writing, like the chord progression and maintaining interest. There's this fundamental law of like music theory where the whole idea of making interesting music is tension and release. And you don't have a whole lot of tension here. You kind of, if you look at your chord structure, your song's in C major, right? So like you're staying in C major, and then like you're going to one note, which is not a really tense note, and then you're resolving back to C major in the next note. So most of the time, like you want to try to avoid going back home to the root chord as much as you can. So like, some people build something called like 8-bar phrases or like 4-bar phrases where like this is a chord that's your root note, but then you have like 3 chords that aren't your root note, and then by the time you get to the end, you're like, okay, my ear is waiting to hear that return to home, that return to like the one chord, and because of that, you're looking forward to the next cycle of the chord progression. So in this situation, you're kind of just living on the home chord. And then you go to like these little accessory chords in between each home chord, but you're never getting anywhere like tense. It kind of just lingers there the whole time. So obviously this is subjective. Like there are people that write like major only music and just have like one big major chord for the entire song. But to me, I think something I value a lot in music is like tension and creating like an interest in seeing where the chords go. And I think that might be something that's lacking here. So as an example, I'm not going to really like mess with your mix and stuff too much. I just want to I think the most important thing for you to focus on is like the music. So like if I was to take that MIDI that you have and just create a new channel here. And let's go ahead and just put like a basic like saw pad on it or something. Like something really simple. Like this, and then maybe some voices. So you have like a basic saw chord pad. So you keep resolving to that major every bar, and it's kind of ruining your sense of like intrigue. So even if you're staying in major, you can always go to a different chord than your root. So first and foremost, I want to simplify your chords a little bit here. So this is obviously your C major with your added octave, which is your 9. So C major 9. And you're kind of relying on that. For the time being, I'm going to remove your 9 just to make this a little bit more straightforward and simple to see what we're actually dealing with here. And then you have your, what is this, an E minor 9? Yeah, E minor 9. Again, let's just ditch the 9s for right now so we can really get an understanding of what we're looking at. And this is looking like a C minor 7. You can tell because of the spaces in between. So like if you have a root note and then you have 1, 2, 3, 4 spaces, it's a major chord, and then from there 3 more to the 5th. And then for these kind of chords, it's like you have your root note, and then this is another major. But a minor is like you have your root, and then you have up 3, 1, 2, 3, and then up 4, 1, 2, 3, 4 to your 5th, and that's a minor. And then obviously you have your 7 added, so 5, and then 6, 7 on your scale. We'll actually ditch the 7 too, just to make this really straightforward. Then this one fundamentally is, if you look, there's that 3 and then 4 gap pattern here. So this is like your core chord. We can lose the bottom note and then the top. And then if you look at your chord progression, this is like the basis of what it is. This is like your chord movement. And what I always try to do is maximize the amount of tension and building interesting movements rather than returning to home. So there's this fundamental law in music of like going home is the ultimate satisfaction, but only after it's followed with tension. So if you set a standard in your song, like your root or your home position is C major, and you are going for 8 or 16 bars without hearing that C major, your ear's gonna be like, okay, where is that C major? And that's kind of what you want to do, because then it makes the person feel like they need to listen into the next bar because they need that resolve. And the longer you can hold that out for, the longer you can justify making your phrases. Right now you have a lot of resolution and not a lot of drama or contrast. So we have a C major, then we have a G major, and then we have a C major, and then a D minor, and a C major, and then an E minor, C major, E minor. And to make this more interesting, let's try to move these chords so that we're not revealing the major on the top of every bar. I think that can make this a little bit cooler. So what we'll do is we'll move this chord structure down to maybe like, instead of the C, we can go to like an A minor here. And then, instead of resolving on, just 4 beats, we can carry this out to 8. But even that, helps make this a little bit more interesting than just resolving immediately. You maybe even try like an F major. So now it feels really nice when you resolve back to home. But we can keep this going and not resolve. I'm going to flatten the scale down to, oh, right, we're in 10. maybe go to that F major there. And then when it resolves back around, it feels satisfying because we haven't heard that major in such a long time. And then loop back around. Let me just loop that really quick. So, and then we'll add like a root note to add some, you know, bottom to this. And like you can see that, you know, just picking different intervals and waiting to resolve back around to the front makes this so much more interesting. So the main thing I want to get across to you right now is to try to pay more attention to like the chords you're using, because you can mix all day, you can sound design all day, you can, you know, do really surgical mastering and stuff, but what at the end of the day matters is how it sounds musically. Like I had this conversation with Darude, the trance producer, and he and I kind of agreed upon this fundamental idea that if you can take any song that you hear in EDM or what have you, and you can bring it all down, like the arrangement, narrow it down to its very simple form of like a guitar or like a piano, and you can play it and people will recognize it, that's what makes a good song. It's not all the production. There's a ton of pop music over the years that's really good and really classic sounding that isn't really well produced. And it just stands the test of time because of the music, not because of the, you know, the sounds used or whatever. So, you know, that can contribute, but at the end of the day, the music is the most important thing. So, I don't know, this is not like the greatest melody ever, the greatest chord progression ever, but it's a little bit more interesting because we've picked tensor chords. Like instead of giving away the home after every time, we go to tense chords surrounding that home chord, and when we finally give it to you, the resolve comes back around at the front and it feels really nice. There's other stuff we can do to make this sound a little bit less like jumpy, because right now it's like and you can see that's because the chords are, you know, almost completely flipped. You know, all these notes are no longer here and they're up here instead. And what you can do is actually do something called a chord inversion. So if we take those top notes and we drop them an octave, this is still technically a G major. It's just called G major first inversion. And so you take the top note and flip it down to the bottom. And that way, you know, it kind of solidifies the chord stack a little bit here. It's not so separated and severed. It won't feel as like jumpy. Let's do that here too. Yeah. And then from here, you know, you could take what you were doing before and add the sevens, like that's actually your ninth, but the seven would be here. Oh, actually no, that is your seventh. I don't think it's appropriate there, but that's your nine. And maybe we can add our 9 here too. And 9 is just the octave, so. Yeah. Basic chord theory. Hope that helps somebody out there. And I hope that alleviated a few things for you. There's some other voices you can do while we're here. I'll just show you. If you add a note in between your root and your third or fourth, or I'm sorry, your root and your fourth, you can do a 2. It's called a suspended 2. That's like the audience sound. Or like the Madeon. And then if you take that up to the 4, that's called a suspended 4. And it can be nice sometimes. But yeah, basic chord theory, really satisfying stacks, and I made it derivative of what you used already. So just try to add a little bit more motion to your music. Like right now, you're kind of resolving to that root note, even on your melody stuff. Make your melody stuff like this one follow, that chord pattern I just made, or your own chord pattern. So yeah, that's that. I think that's like the foundation of what needs to happen in this song. I'm not going to spend too much time like mixing it and that sort of stuff, because the writing needs to be at a place where it facilitates that. It just there's something about like, if the song is not intriguing enough, it's worth starting anew. So yeah, give that a go. I'm gonna save this, and you can mess around with it in your own time if you want to. Then I'm gonna do the last one of the day, and that's Sonic Buster. So everybody give Will Cree a nice round of applause. Great sound design and stuff, and just keep working on it. Sounds good. Just needs some help on the music side of things. All right, so now we are working on Sonic Buster, and we have some stems from them. Go ahead and move this. How can I do this? Be in here? Yeah. I guess I should name this like Wick Wire. Wick? I don't know how to pronounce your name, man. Did that copy or what? Well, it's not that. 1 second. Let's do this. Oh, it's going. Okay, cool. All right. The last one is this one, and this is a STEM project because it's an FL Studio user. And if you are an FL Studio user and want to submit in one of these streams in the future, I do those as well. You just got to send me stems or a SoundCloud link, and I'll give you some feedback. All right. Let's go ahead and take a look at this. I don't know the tempo. It doesn't really matter functionally. We're just going to play through it and give some feedback and maybe work on a few things. Wick, light the thing you light on fire, wires. Okay, so it is wick wire. Yeah. Cool. Here we go. That's cool already. Okay, so first I'm going to put a limiter on. Gotcha. I love your effects there. This is a sick melody. Like nothing else to say about it. That's really, really good melody. Okay, so a few things. I think your main lead could be a little brighter and louder. It's bussed together. I'm not going to worry too much about opening up the bus stems, but I would say that main lead, it could be louder and it could have a little bit more highs. It feels a little dull right now. And then you have another lead like in there competing. It's like that little like sprinkly belly kind of sound. If you like roll off the high end of that and then you boost the high end of like that main lead, they'll play nicer together because then you'll have like less competing voices in the high frequencies. That bell thing is really nice, like support sound, but it doesn't lend itself to the lead because they're competing against one another. And I think you should prioritize that main like cool like saw lead. Just a little bit of brightness, would help. And I would probably only do it to that saw, but I can't. So, okay, so your bass and your kick sound awesome. It seems like you have something going on with your kick. I would investigate that some of your kicks are louder than others. I don't know if that was intentional, but I would probably not do that just because it's hard to balance. Like if you were trying to mix this, every once in a while you'll have one kick that's like really loud and you're like, whoa, what was that? So I would try to flatten all that out. And it seems like there's actually a shape of the kick across the board here. Like this is much louder here than here. If I was to grab this and just bring it over here, you might want to take a look at that in your DAW and see what's going on. Doesn't feel like that's correct. I don't know why that's so different. But yeah, definitely look at that. You want your kick to be like universally flat. To switch the priority of the melody, counter melody there, I would just say make sure one of them is the priority. As it stands, it feels like they're both kind of riffing on top of each other and there's no like priority. It's like if two electric guitarists were playing over top of each other, it becomes very hard to understand unless they're very like meticulously playing off of one another. So I would definitely say that needs addressing. I gotta say that melody is like probably the catchiest of the day. That's really good. It also sounds like the main melody is like kind of pushed back a little bit. It might be like too much reverb or too much chorus or something. I don't know what's on it, but it feels kind of phased out. It doesn't feel like very centered and strong. And that's probably like too much, again, effects or like unison and not enough like strong mono signal. I like the drums. Also, what I'm hearing might be like, if these are like MP3s or something, it might be, lower resolution by default, so there might not be as much sharpness in the high end as I would like anyhow. But it does feel like the whole thing's a little bit muffled. So like the kick here is sick. That's a perfect level. This like feels really good with your bass. But your whole balance gets jacked up here. I don't know how this happened. It's probably like a stray like automation or something that got loose, but okay, so it is wave. So yeah, it is like there's a certain like muffledness to the song, and I would try to address that if I were you. Yeah, so again, the kick is significantly louder here, or quieter here for some reason. That's interesting. When you have it at that full volume, it's so much better. Like, this is very windy. It's like noticeably different. So I would say commit to this mix. And if you can, I mean, rewatch this video or like take notes of that, and that's something I would fix. Your bass could probably be sidechained a little bit heavier. And it sounds like there's like some phaser or something on the bass too. It's a little bit overbearing. I would try to use something a little drier so you have a little bit more strength to that low end. Just in general, there seems to be a lot of like effects on stuff. I would go a little bit more drier, bare bone, like saw wave oscillator. This is awesome. Whatever you've done for this pad is sick. Same for your effects. Maybe a little bit too much like low. Yeah. So, I mean, those are like my key notes here. It's hard for me to get like deeper than that because I can't like adjust your sound design. But just to recap, your bass has like a lot of like phaser or something on it, like unison. I would say simplify that down to like a single oscillator or like a single voice and try to make it really centered and strong. Like the sound design is cool. Maybe you can actually layer this on top of like a more neutral mono bass. Just so it has like an anchor to it. It doesn't feel like it does right now. It feels very wide. Or like overly mono after being wide or something. Like you have unison and then you're flattening it or something down to a mono channel. Something strange is going on with that bass, and yeah, I would just look into that. And then with your kick, again, the kick volume dynamic is weird. I would just commit to this volume for the entire song, to be honest with you. Maybe in exceptions like these, like with exceptions to these like ramps and stuff. Yeah, and then your lead, I would say prioritize one or the other. So like that one that's like the main melody, I would bring that up in volume, remove some of the effects on it, and try to dry it out, make it strong in the front. And then the other one, you can leave all the effects on it, but just roll off the top end or turn it down. And then, yeah, your pad sounds fine. It almost sounds like it's phase inverted or something. I don't know what you're doing, but like it's sucking in rather than pushing out. You might want to look into the phase of that, but it does sound good out of phase. So. I wouldn't push the counter melody to the sides, because regardless of if it's on the sides or not, when you flatten down the mono or on some listening systems, it'll still be conflicting. I would just say commit to making one of the leads like the core lead and then the other one like support. Yeah, and then I don't have any issue with your effects bus. Like this first drop sounds great already. Like maybe a little sidechain on these effects or something, but seems that my annoyingly we back at it. Anyway, yeah, so that's my insight on this one. Those are the things I would address if I were you. And I really like the song as it stands. It just needs a little bit of help on the, the mixing side of things. And hopefully those notes help you a little bit. I don't know why it's pasting from there. Okay, awesome. So that is a wrap, I think, on today's stream. Let me congratulate all of the people who entered a song today. They're really good stuff throughout the stream today. I don't know why my frame rate is tanking here, guys. Not much I can do about that. I'm trying. I think it's an internet thing. Yeah. So thank you guys for watching. Again, if you are new to this, you can submit your project next month by going over to patreon.com/JulianGray, and you can submit your project file for next month's stream if you're a patron of the YouTube channel or of my music in general. If you are a patron and you're still watching this stream, here at the end, we're having a Discord meetup in about an hour and a half over on the Julian Gray Discord. It's discord.gg/JulianGray. All patrons of the channel can participate and talk with all of your fellow students and mentees and other artists like me and others. So if you're interested, hop in the Discord, pledge on Patreon, and I'll see you there in about an hour and a half. It's been a great stream, guys. Thank you guys for watching. Hopefully next time we'll get around all of the hiccups, but I can already tell with this new computer that I'm using that there's a lot more headroom for cool stuff like 60 frames per second streaming to 2 or 3 platforms at once like we are today, running the chat on the screen, and in general just a lot better experience to stream. So hopefully this will encourage more streams on the channel and also better streams and better stream quality. I'm going to see what's wrong with the dropping of frames. That's a weird bug that I want to address as soon as possible. But outside of that, I think we had a pretty good, successful stream on the new system. And I hope you guys enjoyed all the enhancements we've done. I worked really hard to get that going, and we'll get all of the issues out next time. We rating on Twitch. Yeah, we could totally rate on Twitch. Give me 1 second and I'll set that up. But for the time being, yeah, I'm just going to move over to the webcam. Boom. And hopefully it didn't take my frame rate again. Probably did, though. All right, let's go ahead and raid somebody over on Twitch here. And thank you guys for watching over on YouTube as well, and Facebook if you're watching on any of those platforms. And I will see you guys in next month's stream on the last Saturday of the month, as always. We'll talk to you soon. Cool. Bye-bye.